Hi everyone, it's Jerry. I have an instructive game to share with you from the ongoing Chinese Rapid and Blitz Championship. This is not the proper championship event. This one here, a 24-player single elimination event. Rapid format for this one, 15 minutes, 10-second increment, played on July 13th. On the white end, Liren, playing against Zhao, Yuanhe. Okay, this one kicks off with knight f3, knight f6. In the opening, we are looking at a King's Indian defense. And with bishop g4, this is one of the rare lines of the King's Indian defense. We will soon see a bishop for knight exchange. And I would say a model game here for the white side, playing with this particular imbalance. So we see a same sides castles game. Knight c6, d5, bishop for knight exchange, there we go. And after this break here with c6 and the capture, let me throw this one to you as a pop quiz. What is your move here? Feel free to pause the video. Okay, how to recapture on d5. If you take with the knight, that hangs e4. So which of these two should recapture? In the game, it's e captures d. And this is the better way to recapture. If you take with the c pawn, this rook, once positioned on the opened, now opened, c file, it will have a greater influence. It will see c3 directly and also support knight c4. So in this position, after rook c8, notice you can't keep the knight out of c4, at least with a pawn that would hang the knight. White anticipates the rook c8 move in this game. Takes with the e-pawn, and after rook c8, connect 4 available. The knight shielded, c-pawn still around. Now, the big question for black, how to get in this one key pawn break, b5. I mean, there's another break with the e6, but this is really the main one to try to get in, b5, and white never really allows black to get that break in and maintains excellent control throughout this whole game. So let's see how he manages to do this. First, knight e, d7, rook c1, very healthy, queen a5, rook e1, a6, and now bishop d2. So taking some care over the c3 point now that the b5 move is prepped. From here, black plays rook f to e8. Now, let's test out the b5 move in this position. It certainly looks scary, the bishop opposite the queen, but let's get a feel for what tricks are up white's sleeve in the event of this break, this move that tries to free black's position and extend the scope of the rook. If b5 was played, here's how white can respond. Likes to first capture on b5 with the pawn, opening up this c4 square. We'll see why soon enough. And after this recapture, now we can go ahead and capture on b5 with the knight. And here's the point. If the queen captures a2, there's this nice move, bishop c4, which is sort of the, it will act as the super glue for white's position, holds everything together, and now carries, this last move would carry 2 threats. A very direct one, swiping a pawn, and the other is to trap the queen with rook a1 and bishop c3. So there wouldn't be a good answer to this. So not a good idea to try for this break. It's simply not there. In the game, rook f to e8, bishop f1, just getting out of the rook's way, some more control over a possible e6 break. Queen b6, rook c2. These next few piece moves by white I really like. Rook c1 opens up this square for the queen. All right, queen d4. Black would like to get an exchange in. Queen exchange may make it a little bit easier, possibly, to get in a b5 break. Possible doubling up and then b5. White does not want a queen exchange. Plays h3 here, so not so quick to get out of this. Pin. Take some time out to prevent any coordination, let's say on f2. So this is the moment to flick in the flight square. Follow up rook c7, queen c1, and now black better watch because this queen is very short on squares. White's ready to take over full control of this diagonal. So queen aborts here, flies away before she's going to get trapped. Bishop e3, queen b8. Notice the queen staying in a position to still maybe be there and support b5 break. Follow up bishop d4, queen d1, bishop exchange, and look at how quickly things have turned. It was just a moment ago. Where was the black queen who was in the center? Now it is the white queen, and what a piece this is. Fantastic post. Not so easily challenged. Now, at this point, black goes with knight h to f6, gets back into the ball game. Let's revisit b5 in this position. There is a beautiful tactical sequence if black tries b5 here. I almost didn't test out b5 in this position. I'm glad I did. Check out this tactical sequence. If black goes with b5, white can take on b5. A takes b. And not knight captures b. That would hang the rook. So you take with the bishop. And now what you always have to be careful about in these positions are the rook sacrifice on the knight. This rook for two minor pieces combination. It's not working out here. Let's see why. If black goes for rook captures knight, there's rook captures rook. And after queen captures bishop, you ready for this one? There would be a beautiful shot with rook captures e7. And we're not done yet. How would this look after rook captures rook? We would see a back rank check. After a knight block, we would see checkmate. Rook captures knight and queen corner pocket. Game over. That's a very pretty sequence right there. So b5 going all the way back here. b5 yet again not working with this queen having a clear view of that h8 square. So knight h to f6, maybe now it's nearby. All right, from here, white says, what are you doing about e6 or e7? Queen pulled away, defending, very cluttered. White with the space advantage, that space advantage, that space, I should say, is certainly felt. Space is an advantage in this position. Follow up, rook e3, rook c8, small improvements, king h2, king f8, g4. Okay, maybe we're ready to scare the knight away, queen b6. And at this point, white is okay going for a queen exchange. The computer does not see this as best, but it wants to go with queen f4, queen d2, keep the queens on board. But maybe a practical decision with this time format welcomes the endgame, where white still has a slight pull. So we get a queen exchange, king improvement, follow up h4, h6, bishop e2, white wants g5, doesn't want to deal with knight h5. All right. King G7 is played at this point. At the top, the computer says play G5. Try to hold up the G5 idea. How would this look if G5 is played? You can take on G5. You could play F4. In the end, there is a square for black to work with on E5. So either knight could maybe occupy this point. This square will not be available shortly for the knight. White will be able to establish a pawn, another invasive pawn in the position. But how black plays it does not insert G5. King G7 it is. Now we see G5, the exchange on G5, and knight H7 is played. Now, if you go with knight H5, this isn't any good because you end up with an isolated pawn that can be immediately targeted, and it's not so easy to hang on to that. So keep in mind these rooks tethered to the defense of E7, they are not having fun. Neither is this B pawn. You don't have to worry about B5 with the knight on B6. The other detail, this seems like a convenient way to defend the pawn, this weakened pawn, isolated pawn, but you'd be looking at this maneuver into F4 for the knight. So not a good idea to take on the isolated pawn. We have knight H7 in this game. Follow up F4 and notice, again, looking back at that opportunity for black to play G5 rather than King G7. In that variation, black would have had access to E5. Now you don't. White here has control over both of these black squares, F6 and E5. The knights are running out of squares. Very good coordination. Space everywhere for white. In the center, on the king's side, a nice square has opened up on G4 for the bishop. Full control for white. Now at this stage we see knight C8. Computer saying at the top it's looking at F6, but even with this immediate challenge of G5, it prefers white. We're looking at something about plus 1.5. So still very good for white, even with this top move, F6. In this one, it is knight C8, bishop G4. The B5 break is finally there, but by this point, too late. Move 36, B5, something has clearly gone wrong if it's taking that long to get in this break. How it follows, C takes B, A takes B, knight takes B, black's relying on a fork in the end, but this knight also has a fork in mind. It is supported on B5. Rook captures D. There would follow knight C7, and there you go. Both rooks targeted. In the game, it's knight B6. There is a pin in the position. There has been a pin for some time. And now that D6 is not defended with the knight, knight D6 is available. And where do you go with the rook? In the game, rook F8. If you go on the counterattack, yet again, there would be another fork. So rook F8 it is, position clearly collapsing for black. Knight takes D, rook on 7 to E5, pin, rook check, bishop blocks, knight is hit. With the rook still, needs to find a new home. Rook E3, everything under control. Base point covered, no longer a pin of the bishop. Rook C1, back to the 7th rank. Rook C5, rook B7, and after knight D5, we have rook E5, and black has finally had enough, resigns, completely tied up in a knot, this final position. Not a single black piece in white's camp. This knight is going to fall shortly. Look at how invasive the white pieces, pawns are in this position. 2 extra pass pawns, connected passers, no hope for black. So a very nice controlled game out of this King's Indian defense with that light square bishop for king knight imbalance. Anyhow, your thoughts on this one? Feel free as usual to leave any feedback to this video in the comment section below. Hope you enjoyed it and maybe took a thing or two away. That's all for now. Take care. Bye.